the order of precedence. I want you to know what this means. This also relates again to the construction engineering section. So let's just cover it in here as well. So the order of precedence outlines the hierarchy. There's a top, there's a bottom hierarchy of documents that guide project execution. So when conflicts arise between different documents, the contracts stipulates which document's instruction should be followed. While specific contracts may vary, the typical order of precedence is as follows. This is general, typical, but we know each contract might be different, but in general, this is the case. Keep in mind, each contract might be different depending on the specific circumstance. So the agreement and the contract is number one. Meaning, let's say you have an issue and you're like, okay, the contractor and the owner are like, okay, in the addenda, you said we should do this, but now in the agreement, you said we should do this. In the agreement and the contract, we said we should do this. We agreed. What's going to control if there is an issue and conflict between the addenda and the agreement? It's going to be the agreement, the very top one. That's what we mean by precedence. If there's a conflict, the top one is going to rule the decision. So the agreement and the contract is number one. The addenda is going to be below that. Notice how the addenda is all the way up here, because this is done before bidding. So it's essentially kind of part of that contract, right? It is part of the contract agreement. And the contractors, recall, all agree before bidding. They agree on the addendum terms and what's stated in that. So the addenda is next, then supplementary conditions. So these supplementary conditions will be above the general conditions as we said above. They're supplementary to the general conditions, so it makes sense. These are above, so if there's a conflict, this wins. Now, the general conditions wins over these three. General conditions will win over specifications and drawings. Now, the specifications govern over the drawings. This one's very important to know. This often gets confused. It's the specifications that govern over the drawings. If there is an issue, let's say on the drawing plan, we have some stuff here and we have images, the layout dimensions, but on the specifications, it says something else in writing that does relate to the drawing, but there's a conflict. There's a conflict. Okay, the drawings have this dimension, but the specifications say this. It's the specifications that rule. We would go with the specifications. Now we have the drawings at the bottom, and other documents that we discussed up top is going to be at the end. So that's going to be the order of precedence. Keep in mind again, these are general ones, but likely this is going to be the order of precedence for most projects. This can change depending on a specific project. So as we said, specifications usually take precedence over the drawings, because here, when there's a conflict, the specifications do take precedence because the specifications are more detailed and outline the exact quality, materials, and the performance requirements, which relates to the workmanship for the project. So specifications define what materials or methods are acceptable, and therefore if there's a discrepancy between the drawings shown and what the specifications state, the specifications are often followed.